Hello, everyone. Andy Trino here. Honored to be hosting the Realtor of the Week here at Realtor Connect. Mike asked me to come in today to interview David Gutierrez, who's the featured Realtor of the Week. So, welcome.
Hi, Andy. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. It's honored to be hosting, and you and I know each other in the past a little bit, so got a little bit of a history. It's part of why Mike asked me to hop on today. But for those of you who may not know you, tell us a little bit about you. Let's start. What brokerage are you with?
So I am with eXp Realty with Pemberton Homes.
Awesome. And how long have you been with Pemberton?
Since August of 2023. So just not even a year.
Not even a year yet. Okay. Yeah. And let's see. How long have you been licensed in the industry?
3 years, actually.
3 years. So you came in at, we'll just call it an interesting time.
Yeah, it was intense.
Yeah.
I was a mortgage underwriter for Bell Bank.
Oh,
Bell
really?
Mortgage, actually. So, it was a lot of files, and then we got super slow and then busy again. It was just pretty interesting.
So, in your opinion, what is a worse phone call? An underwriter getting a call from a loan officer or a realtor getting a phone call from a loan officer?
Oh, man. I will say from the loan officer.
From the loan officer?
Yeah, I've had to deny a couple of loans here and there, but I mean, that's the hard part of the job.
Yeah.
Of being an underwriter, something I do not miss at all.
Yeah, and you really, the underwriter part, you don't get any of the glory.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're always the bad guy.
Well, I wouldn't say always.
Or the good guy.
Yeah, I wouldn't say always. I don't know what your style was, but
I was pretty good. I didn't set a lot of conditions, like nothing unnecessary, like other colleagues of mine used to do.
Sure.
I was the cool guy. When the mortgage loan officer submitted a file, they requested me for some reasons.
Well, good. So you're approving more files. I got to find
more files, just.
And jokes aside, that's the loan officer too. It's what you submit. When I do hear people complaining about underwriters, the first thing you go to is like, well, what did you send them?
Exactly.
Why should they approve it? And sometimes, it's human beings. Sometimes there's a reason why it's not going through. But
exactly.
I'd say 9 times out of 10, either the file that you sent in was incomplete or there's legitimate questions that are coming up.
Yeah. And honestly, I only did conventional loans. I never got into the FHA.
Okay.
I didn't have my, credentials for that.
Sure.
I was like, phew, because those can be kind of messy.
Sure.
So, yeah, it was fun. I liked it. I don't miss the 9 to 5 grind, though. That was hard.
Yeah. Well, it's different. I mean, now, I know I kind of am on call all the time just because we're helping consumers when they're not working.
100%. You guys have it hard.
So do you. Someone's got to open that door. And
I always say, us realtors, door openers.
Yes, that's it.
Have it way easier. We don't do anything.
I would not say that at all.
Honestly, I think you lenders have it harder because, you're like the base of the dream of that person, right? Trying to buy a home. Without financing, can't do anything. I can show them 1 million homes, but then if they don't qualify.
Well, and I'd say if you're showing 1 million homes they don't qualify for, that loan officer didn't do their job.
Exactly.
Now we're back to why is you're having trouble in underwriting.
Exactly.
You need to do that job up front.
100%.
Now, I'm not going to go say one's easier than the other because for me, I'm happy writing a dozen pre-approvals on a Saturday in my sweatpants. You got to be out there showing houses. You got to look presentable.
Yeah, for sure. I will say that's the hardest thing, especially snow or not. People want to see homes.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, I had my busiest day.
Really?
Yeah. People are like, let's go and tour this home here, this home there. I'm like, all right, let's do it.
So snowstorm happening yesterday. Were people having snow days and I don't have to go to work? Let's buy a house?
I don't know what happened, but they're like, let's go and see it. And, the market's, it's hot. We definitely got the spring market in January, and homes are selling fast. So people just have the urgency to see the home, get in the home as soon as possible and make the offer. So.
Yeah, and it's really, I think speed makes a huge difference.
Yes.
With the market that we're in, you got to get that offer in quick.
You have to.
But also, even if houses weren't selling fast, if that person wants to buy that house, you need to get in there and help them make that decision quickly.
Yep, 100%. And actually, I don't know about you, but I have the best luck showing homes on Mondays and Tuesdays.
Interesting.
And getting offers accepted then, because when you set an offer on a Monday,
Yeah.
chances are that seller doesn't want to sit on it for too long. Or
Sure.
if they had an open house schedule for that weekend, you just put a little bit of pressure, or at least I do, where I'm like, all right, I'm giving you like 24 hours to review the offer and think about it.
Okay.
And again, I just have the best luck getting offers accepted Mondays and Tuesdays.
Okay, so writing them on Mondays with an expiration
Yep.
timeline so they can't get to that next weekend.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
I like that. Any other strategies that you have with the offer itself?
I always say not the highest offer wins. You know, there's people think that you need to offer so much money, be the highest one to win. It's just about having the good terms, and then just try and find out what the seller wants, right?
Sure.
Seller wants to move out fast, or inspection, no inspection. I always recommend doing an inspection, but just got to find out what they really want. And then I always say just build that rapport with the listing agent from day one. Be very professional, and that will win you offers.
Certainly. So are you calling before you even do a showing, after the showing, but before the offer? Tell me how that works when you're communicating with that listing agent.
So us realtors, we get like a notification to do feedback.
Yeah.
And that's just a computer saying, hey, what do you think of the price? Are your buyers willing to write an offer? Blah, blah, blah. I fill that out right away, and then I call them.
Okay.
And I'm like, hey, Andy, I just saw your listing at 123 Banana Street. Buyers loved it.
Banana or pineapple?
Pineapple. Yeah, 123 Pineapple Street. They liked the home. We're going to be sending you an offer. What are your sellers looking for?
Sure.
Like, is 3 weeks too soon to close? Just give me a little more info,
Yeah.
without asking too much.
Yeah.
There's that fine line. And then I also do the same call if the client didn't like it. Just trying to give a little feedback like, hey, I think home may be a little overpriced, and this is something that they didn't like. So they appreciate that.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
more feedback, the better.
Do you do many listings, or are you primarily buy side?
I'm like 75% buy side and 25% listings.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm sure on the listing side, you appreciate that feedback too.
100%. And as a listing agent, I always respect to the people that took the time to do the feedback or call me.
Yeah.
So you always try to learn the best habits from other top producers.
Absolutely. And this market that we're in is small too. You see
Very
the same
small.
faces often.
Very small. That helps a lot too for winning offers.
Yeah, if you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
If you're doing a good job and that helps. If you're reaching out and it's like, hey, that's that guy. He's always leaving feedback and he helps me out. He's always in a friendly mood. That's a big deal.
Just answer the phone.
That's-
It's mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. I don't get it. So many listing agents that don't pick up the phone.
I actually have two rules. You got to answer the phone
Yeah.
and then don't be a jerk.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. I didn't even say be nice. Like, just don't be a jerk. And those two things, you're already in the top 10%.
100%.
If you can do the third and be honest and ethical, now you're top 1% and you're crushing it.
Exactly.
And part of that too, you're not going to know all the answers.
Yeah.
It's totally fine to say, I got to get back to you on that one.
Yeah.
And people are going to respect that more, other than finding out down the road that there's a well in the back that you didn't tell them about.
100%.
Yeah, all of a sudden that comes up in underwriting, and now I'm getting the call.
It's like, hey, what's going on with this?
Oh, that's awesome. So, all right. So 3 years in the business, came from underwriting. Underwriting is so much more black and white. Why did you decide, to me at least, and maybe I'm wrong, but the realtor side of the game, you're dealing with a lot more emotions.
Yeah.
It's not every single house is the same.
Yeah.
How did you decide to make that jump?
Well, sitting in my desk was killing me. And I was reviewing a lot of contracts, and just got me thinking, like, all these agents just making this big commissions.
Sure.
Maybe I should try and do this. So I actually talked to my boss, and I'm like, hey, I'm thinking about getting licensed. And then they're like, go for it. Just, you cannot underwrite your own files.
Sure.
I was like, fair enough. So I started doing it on the side first, and I found great success with it, where I was making almost my annual salary as an underwriter in like, 4 months?
Yeah.
So for me, that was like, okay, well, right now I have my job. I had to ask for time off if I want to go on a vacation. And to me, that was like a no-no.
Yeah.
it was a big scary jump because was making good money, and then just jumping to a full commission job, you don't have that stability and that paycheck coming every 2 weeks. So it was like a leap of faith, and I was like, I gotta do this. And I was about to quit actually, and then Bell announced that they were laying off like the first wave of employees, and I was part of that because I was one of the newest underwriters.
Did you get a sweet severance?
So I was like, yeah, hey, severance package, let's go. Yes. Had I quit the week before, I wouldn't have anything. So it was totally like a God thing, like, all right, I need to do this 100%. Yeah. And my wife's very, very supportive since day one. So I think it's important when your other half is on the same page.
Absolutely. I think my side of this business, I think anyone who's in a full commission sales job like ours, that there is no downtime. I think you need to have a supportive spouse with that. Or both of you aren't going to be happy.
And it's hard when you have kids. I mean, you have kids, I have kids, and, being on a full commission, no health insurance. I had to go under my wife's insurance, which it's very expensive. She's a teacher.
Sure.
So they have to go with the school insurance, which is very spendy. So it was like a big commitment. Childcare and
and that's some of the things that people don't realize too.
Yeah.
I don't want to totally dive into commissions in that.
Yeah.
But you said as an underwriter, you look at that big number and it's like, oh man, $10,000, that's a lot.
Yeah.
You don't realize that there's so many more expenses that the bank was covering for you at that point. There's no 401k. There's no
nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. I remember my first commission ever. I was like, just looking at the check, like, it was like $12,000. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so rich. Then my accountant's like, you need to put 30% of that for taxes. I'm like, okay, there goes the big chunk. Yeah. Expenses here is all the team splits and brokerage fees. And it's like, oh my, this is it?
Yeah. All of a sudden, it's like, I got to go sell another one.
It's definitely not like Selling Sunsets on Netflix or any of those fancy shows, like where the agents get 200K commissions. And I mean, everybody gets a piece of the pie, but I still wouldn't change that. I mean, you're the same. You guys are 100% commission.
Correct. Yep.
So you know how that goes.
Yep. Same thing. It's dealing with the same thing. We got got to buy health insurance, and retirement is on my own, and expenses are on my own, and advertising's on my own, and it's really a bet on yourself. And you said it, God opened that door for you and kind of made it clear that it was your time to walk through. But as soon as you walk through that, there's no one else to look at other than in the mirror if you want to have success.
Absolutely. Like he was like, all right, get in.
Yeah.
You have to do this. And it was funny because I wanted to do this since 2017, but the fear held me back. And advice that I give to people wanting to get into real estate, I mean, is not that pretty like you may see it on the shows. Yeah. You just got to hustle. I mean, business is not going to come to you knocking on your door. You got to hustle. And everything is scary. Yeah. When you're trying to do stuff on by yourself and be your own boss. But you just got to take that first step. Take it, and then it will change your life. All right. So you said then you got to hustle. So let's get down granular. Yeah. What are you doing? How are you hustling? How do you find your clients? What's working for you? I find my clients via social media, actually. Okay. Yeah. One of the things that I started doing as of last year, for every closing that I have, first of all, I become friends with my clients on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Even when we just meet and start the process, until all the way to the closing, we take the picture of closing, and I ask them, hey, can I post this on Facebook? Yeah. Just get the okay from them, and then I tag them. Yep. So then I appear in their feeds. So they have family, they have friends. Guess what happens when somebody buys a home? everybody just gets curious and Andy just bought a home.
Yeah.
People get somewhat jealous. They're like, I want to buy a home too. Not necessarily jealous, but kind of like motivated, right?
Yeah.
And then I get a lot of people that just send me a DM saying, hey, I see that my friend Alan just bought a home with you. Can you help us with the process too? Alan didn't even send me that client.
That's awesome.
They saw me on their feed. So social media, Instagram, I post a lot of reels. I get replies from reels, and people are like asking me for advice and areas and how the market is. And I keep it very organic.
Sure.
I'm not a very pushy guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, open houses is huge for me. I try to do open houses where most of my clients are located: Minneapolis, Columbia Heights. I'm from Ecuador originally.
Okay.
So Spanish is my first language, and I love hosting open houses there. We got a lot of people that come in, and I get to meet them and start the process. I've never paid for a lead.
Really?
Yeah. Although my team, Pemberton Homes, we get a lot of leads from Zillow.
Okay.
Funny enough, I think I've converted one Zillow lead the whole time I've been there.
Really?
Everything else is personal business.
And that's great. I mean, whether it's an open house or whether it's social media, people are choosing to work with you.
Correct.
You know, you're the brand. We all know thousands of realtors that are out there. There's a lot of people that do the job, but they've got to want to work with you, and obviously it's working.
Yeah.
So when you're, social media, let's go back to that for a second.
Yeah.
Your content there, are you intentional? Like, is there a ratio of I'm going to do this much personal, that much business?
Yeah. When I first started, I had my Instagram. I was pretty good with social media back then, but when I got licensed, I had to change it to like a professional setting. Mm-hmm. On the actual app, you can change it and then just do like your bio, what do you do, your license where, and all of that. But I tried to keep it 50% family, 50% business. When I first started, all I kept doing is business.
Yeah.
And then it's like people don't want to see that. They also want to meet Andy. They want to meet David, right? So I post a lot of cooking because I love to cook. So I will started posting a lot of like recipes that I was making, or if I'm just making something for dinner, that people get engaged that way.
Sure.
And that's a good conversation starter too. Like they're like, oh my gosh, that kimchi bacon fried rice that you made the other day looks amazing. Can you send me the recipe?
Oh, you and I were texting about chili.
Chili.
And I still want to do that cook-off.
We should. So I make the best white chicken chili, according to me.
So I'm not the chef. I can follow directions. I'm very good at following directions. My wife is the chef.
Okay.
And she makes some good white chicken chili.
That's what I'm saying. So like if you post that on a story of you making that, or just like or eating it or whatever, a lot of people will reply to it and be like, oh my gosh, that looks amazing.
Sure.
So then that's literally how I actually got a listing from posting a reel about it was a beautiful kitchen that I tour in Wayzata, and it was green. It was a beautiful green. And I posted that, and I asked people like, what do you think of this green? Do you like it? It's trendy right now. Is this going to stay?
Yeah.
Or leave? And then one client texted saying, hey, I think this is a nice color, but I think it's just going to be here for a little bit. Then she sent me a DM saying, do you have any good painters? I was like, yeah, actually, I'll send you my top 3.
Yeah.
And then I was like, just curious, what are you painting? She goes, my kitchen cabinets.
Okay.
I was like, okay, cool. Of course, the realtor in me.
Yeah.
Why do you want to paint your cabinets? Are you moving? What are you doing? She goes, yeah, I'm actually going to sell my home.
Okay.
I was like, okay. She's opening the doors. Then she immediately told me, I have 12 friends that are realtors. I was like, oh gosh, I don't have a chance.
Yeah.
And then I was persistent, and I was like, what do I need to do to win your business?
Yep.
So, and ultimately she chose me, listed the home, sold it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, a couple things I'm hearing from you there. You don't like to be pushy.
No.
Which I know you're not. Mm-hmm. That's not natural to you. And nobody likes to be hard sold like that.
Correct.
So you led with a little bit of just kind of fun, you being you, of the kitchen. Yep. But then the other thing where so many people fall short, you asked for the business. Mm-hmm. And so many people will get to that I have 12 friends that are realtors, and instead of saying, what can I do to earn the business, they, turtle shell and they walk away, and they would have never got that.
Yeah. And, I think it's just important to give your pitch and see if you can get it or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, other ways that I get it is, again, when I play pickleball with you guys.
Yes.
I just post that on my stories. Then some clients are like, hey, we should play.
Sure.
Or when do you guys play? Blah, blah, blah. So
do you let them win?
Yeah.
There you go.
A funny story I have is when I had 995 followers on Instagram, I wanted to do something fun for my 1,000 follower.
Yeah.
And I told my wife to help me out at the school. I was like, hey, you should talk to your teachers. Tell them to follow me on Instagram, and I'll give them like a, I don't know, $20 Starbucks card.
Sure.
And then that same day, I got like 5 new followers, and 2 of them were teachers.
Okay.
But both of them were tied at the same time, like for
no.
1,000 and 1,001. So I just gave them each like a card. And one of them from the 1,000 followers reached out like 2 months later saying, hey, David, we want to list our home in Maple Grove, and we want to buy in Chanhassen.
So you got a list and a sale?
Yep. I got a listing and a sale from a $20 Starbucks gift card.
That's awesome.
You got to market it yourself,
Yeah. Yeah, and be out there and everything you do it as your brand.
Yeah.
You don't have to always be selling, but, make it aware of what you do, and they'll come back to you.
Yeah, and I collab, too, with other agents from different brokerages, from Remax, Compass, all the big guys. And within the broker, too, like people from Tyler Miller, Steam send me Spanish leads.
Okay.
So I help other agents. We partner up where I'll take over, pay them their commission.
Sure.
And then I just take over and help the Spanish-speaking clients.
Sure. And that ultimately you're helping the client the best then, too.
Yeah.
So that says a lot about those agents that, sometimes you try to plow through something that you may not be the best qualified for.
Yeah. And I said, I'll give you your referral fee, and then everybody's happy. So
yeah.
I think it's a good experience for the client to have a Spanish-speaking agent. I also have relationships with title, Spanish-speaking title. So everything that happens is all in Spanish. Jose sits right here.
I was just going to
He's
say,
a lender.
Yeah, we've got a great Spanish-speaking LO here that I'm the same way. Like I can muster through this, but I know you're not understanding me as well as you should throughout this process. That's really important.
Yeah.
And going back to why people work with you or work with anyone, they want to work with someone that they like and they want to spend the time with. And yeah, it's important to be able to communicate effectively.
100%. I help. I'm not picky. I can help somebody find a condo for $50K or a home on Lake Minnetonka. I'm not going to say no to business ever.
I like it.
So
I like it. All right. Well, before we wrap up here, what's one takeaway or piece of advice that you would give to someone who's looking to make that jump, looking to come over? What's something that you wish that you would have known when you started?
Don't have fear. Just do it. Take the first step. The difference between the person wanting to do it and somebody that did it is that the person that did it took the first step.
All right. So just get out there and...
Get out there. You're not a tree if you're not happy at your job. Find something that you like. Sales is hard. That's what I tell everybody that has called me and say, hey, I see you're killing it. I want to get licensed. I'm pretty honest with them. I'm like, it's a hustle, okay?
Yeah.
The average realtor sells 3 homes a year. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did. And what do they say, that 90% of the business is done by 10% of the agents?
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, actually, that's it. So I'm pretty honest. I'm like, well, it's a hustle. You're not going to have business coming knocking at your door, but if you're willing to do it, keep your full-time job, then test it out, and then if it works for you, then make the jump. But yeah, don't have fear. Fear holds people back.
Absolutely, and it's certainly a lot easier said than done. But it worked for you. You got a little bit of a push out the door and a little forced motivation. But knowing you for a couple years now, it's been successful. It's all worked out.
Yeah. How about you? What's your advice?
My advice, oh man, going back to all the way when I started.
Sure.
Leave the bank. So for me, and I won't go to the whole origin story, but I kind of grew up around the business. My dad was a mortgage broker, and went to college. And after college, I started working at a bank, and thought.
Which bank did you work at? Are we allowed to say that?
I think we're allowed to say that. I worked at Chase Bank.
Chase, all right.
Yeah. So I was at Chase, and I wasn't sure mortgages was the right thing for me. So Chase was great. I learned a ton about a lot of different things, and one of the things I learned, similar to you, was the two things. I was able to offer more products for better rates as a broker, and also get paid more.
Yeah.
I'd get on the phone and I'd tell my dad and my brother the rates that we were charging at the bank, and I swear my dad dropped the phone when I told him the rates we were charging. He's like, I couldn't look someone in the eye. I'd be making 6 points on that, and I'd never do that to someone. How much are they paying you? And it's like $600. But I got a base salary and health insurance and a 401k, and coming out of college, that I was comfortable, and like you were saying, it was safe and it was comfortable, and I could learn other businesses that ultimately I realized weren't for me. So as soon as I realized I wanted to focus on mortgages, I was out of that bank, and I wish I would have done it sooner. And I also wish I would have been a little bit more upfront with my business sooner. I wasn't as outgoing, and I was young, and I still learning. So I'd say, A, get out of the bank, and number two, get out there and start talking to people and networking and doing all these things that we do. And with that, let your realtors win pickleball. I don't think you've lost yet.
Oh man, such a fun sport. Such a fun sport.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, appreciate you being the Realtor of the Week here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
You're very welcome, and look forward to collaborating here again in the future.